Check the description for the following discount codes. I think I found my new favourite steering wheel, at least for GT and Formula racing, if I actually did Formula racing, which I don't. I'm a rally guy, as most of you know. But this wheel is just beautiful. Now, I am a little bit partial to the Asetek design philosophy. And obviously, the way things look is very personal. So I love the way this looks. You might hate it. And that's obviously absolutely fine. We all have different tastes. The material itself is a carbon fibre reinforced glass fibre. And it's designed to be very, very rigid. So as far as flex goes, there's almost none. In fact, I'll put a clip up now of me flexing it whilst it's attached to the rig. I can force it to flex a tiny bit, but I'm twisting the wheel in a way that you wouldn't twist it when you're driving. You know, we typically steer like this, and it's, of course, we don't try and twist and rip the wheel off the quick release. So in use, it's perfectly fine. As far as the quick release goes, it's the standard Asetek quick release. Again, I'll put a clip up of me whipping the wheel on and off just to show you how easy it is. This is still by far the easiest quick release I've seen and used, and of course it has no movement, no play, no wobble, no flex in that either. The close-up of it here, look, literally is just that lever there that you pull in, and that allows you to lift it up, and you don't have to pull that to put it back on. You can just slot it straight back on. It goes on a tiny bit easier if you do pull the lever in. So yeah, no flex in the wheel itself to speak of. Quick release, tried and tested, best there is as far as I'm concerned. And the glass fibre reinforced carbon fibre reinforced glass fibre, bit of a mouthful, seems to work just great. And I do like the way, I do like the finish that it gives as well. I think it's quite unique. Again, that is personal taste, of course. Now, the handles you see, technically this is they call this the Formula Pro steering wheel. But if we look at the box, you can actually see it's a button box rather than a complete wheel. And the reason for that is there are a choice of 4 different handles that I'll put up on the screen now. Regular Formula handles, Formula LMP handles, regular Formula suede handles, and then the extra large Formula handles. Now, everything apart from the suede ones are plastic. I do not like the plastic that they used or that they're using currently. On earlier wheels, they used a different type of plastic. It was more rubbery, and I favoured that. What I've got here is the suede option, and in my opinion, if you're going to choose between any of the options and you don't specifically need LMP or extra long handles, I will go with the suede. I think it looks nicer. I think it feels nicer. So that's what I've got there. But those options are available. Other things we get in the box, we get a couple of extra, they call them kinky switches. They're these ones here. They give you a couple of black ones rather than the sort of bronzy, orangey, burnt orange that we have there. Again, I like the contrast on the wheel, so that's fine by me. We get a carbon fibre pair of tweezers. We get some stickers so you can label up your buttons and kinky switches if you want to. And then, of course, you get the wheel itself, or should I say the button box itself. Your handles that you've chosen will come in a separate box. Now, the main selling point of this wheel is not the switches, not the buttons, not the handles, because we've got that before on other Asetek wheels, like the one I've got over in the background there, a couple of them in fact. But what they don't have that this does have is the LCD display. 60 Hz refresh rate, 4.3 inch LCD touchscreen with a resolution of 800 by 480, which is a nice resolution for its size on the wheel. 4.3 inches is a nice size, and it looks vibrant and vivid. I will put up some clips now. I'll put up first of all the clip of the sort of startup animation you get when you've got this all hooked up to your rig and you load the Race Hub software from Asetek. You get this quite cool and totally unnecessary intro screen on the display there. And, you know, it's just cool. It's nice to see. Then, what shall I show you next? I'll show you. So in the Race Hub software, there are preset display options. Off the top of my head, Formula, GT, Road Car, and then Sim Hub, because this is fully Sim Hub compatible. So you can go balls deep with your customization on this display. You don't just have to use the 3 presets that are available through the Asetek software. But you'll have seen me cycling through them either now or a second ago, and I'll also show you the 2 areas of the display that are touch sensitive. They're currently set to switch between those types of pre-configured display. So if you were, you finished playing some GT3, you want to play some Formula, you can just touch the left or right hand corners of the screen there to cycle through, rather than having to Alt-Tab out and go to the Race Hub software and do it there. So that's a nice touch. Obviously we have a whole load of LEDs. They're all addressable. They can all be assigned to in-race notifications, or you can have them all turned off. And all the Asetek products do that, even their pedals. You can have the ARGBs on the pedals, notify you of a flag, for example. Not that you're looking, but you can have it do it. And the same for the wheelbase if you have the Invicta base with the LED stripes down either side like I've got. So that's all pretty standard stuff. The buttons are all aluminium or aluminum, as the Americans would say. Let's have a quick peek at exactly how many we have on here, because I can't remember off the top of my head, and I'm sure somebody would like to know. 142 aluminium input options with 31 customizable ARGB LEDs. So everything is there that you're going to need. Specifically, we have 10 push buttons, 6 thumb encoders, 3 rotary encoders, 2 kinky switches. It's funny how they call them kinky where other manufacturers call them funky. Maybe that says something about the boys at Asetek, boys and girls at Asetek, eh? Who knows? Out of office hours activities. Anyway, 2 kinky switches, 2 rocker switches. Yeah, that's everything. Out of the 142 different options, that's how they are all separated. Now, price point on this. This is almost to the penny, exactly half the price of the Invicta alternative. Invicta is their top of the range, Forte is the middle, La Prima is their entry level stuff. Nothing Asetek make is what you would call proper entry level though. It's all high end stuff with varying degrees of functionality from the La Prima up to the Invicta. So this, €629.41. Currently, you can pre-order it now. It ships in 2 weeks on the 14th of August. My discount obviously applies as well. So yeah, €629.41. The Invicta wheel is literally €1,250. So we're talking bang half price. And I think this is by far the better option. Unless you're one of those people that's just got so much money you don't care and you literally want the very best that's available of everything. And I know some of you are out there. Great, go get the Invicta one. For the rest of us that want a high-end wheel that's really well, I mean, this is weighty. And in fact, I actually weighed these handles. If I can find the picture, I took it on my phone. I'll put them up because just the handles, I think, weighed half a kilo, give or take. Because I got the handles out the box and I went, bloody hell, these are, these feel decent, but that's why they don't flex much, like the whole wheel doesn't flex. So yeah, it's well made, it's great. So value for money, compared to other wheels, this is. I think sim racing equipment is expensive, period. It's a very expensive hobby. So value for money, you could buy a car for €600. It would be a crap car, but you could. But anyway, it's half the price of the Invicta wheel, but you are getting 99.9% of the experience and the functionality. Key differences are the Invicta wheel has an aluminium backplate with a 5mm thick carbon fibre front face, rather than this glass fibre, carbon reinforced glass fibre that we have here. In addition to that, the Invicta has 2 extra buttons on the back here, and it comes with a full array of 6 paddles. If you look on the back here, we just have the normal 2, but we have a hole there and a hole there, and the same on this side, where you can fit additional paddles, both analog and digital, like these. The paddles are your standard Asetek paddles. They're magnetic Hall effect. Hall effect sensor is actually in the back of the wheelbase itself, which is why you can just add additional paddles for very little extra cost. The magnets, one of which you see there, and then there is obviously another magnet on the underside. And they give a very satisfying and almost dampened sounding click in operation. The paddles themselves can be moved in or out. I don't think they can be moved up or down, other than in the other slots, of course. Now, I have heard it mentioned that when you pull, and this is where it stops, you can then pull it a little further and you'll get a tiny little bit of additional movement, or what you might say is flex in the mechanism. But why you would be pulling your paddles that hard in a race is beyond me, because once you've engaged the gear, you want to get off that paddle as quickly as possible, either to keep full grip on the wheel because you've got a corner coming up, or just ready to then go up to the next gear or down to the next gear. You don't hold it tight and close, so that's really a non-issue, even though some other wheels out there may have higher quality paddles that don't have that little bit of extra flex when you force them kind of beyond the stop. It's irrelevant in operation. They feel and they work just great. So yeah, and the same goes for the quality of all your rotaries, your dials, your kinky switches, your buttons. If we listen, again, almost that nice dampened sound to the buttons and the rotaries. Everything feels solid and good quality. I always reference high-end audio equipment when I talk about the quality of buttons and knobs and switches on things, because that's another niche hobby where you'll notice the difference. So if you're into your high-end audio, you'll know exactly what I mean. We've got a couple of momentary switches at the top here as well, and they probably feel the least hefty of all the buttons and switches on here, but they are of course very small. I mean, they're barely, what, 1.5 mil in diameter, something like that. So yeah, everything's top quality as expected from Asetek. The driving experience is great, and this is now going to be my go-to wheel for GT3. I'm actually going to start getting into some GT3, even though I normally do rally, and I'll explain that in another video. You might see some driving coming up soon on the channel, we shall see. But yeah, I absolutely love this wheel. Is there anything I haven't shown you so far? If I haven't already, there'll be some driving footage up now of the wheel in operation. I've gone through the menus on the display itself. I've showed you the start-up screen. I've shown you the quick release. I've explained what you can do in the software and that it's SIM hub compatible. I think I've pretty much covered everything, but if I haven't, then feel free to ask any questions you have in the comments. Otherwise, as I say, pre-order now, shipping in 2 weeks, discount in the description. As always, thank you very much for watching, and take it easy.